Hey everyone, I'm Asa Spades, a tank analyst in Method, and today we're going to be going over the new talents for Protection Paladin coming in Dragonflight. Before we dive into the trees, we need to talk about some substantial changes to Prot Paladin's playstyle that are coming in with Dragonflight. I'll go over some of the implications of the changes now, and we'll cover them in more detail once we get to the trees. The first and probably biggest change is that Avenger Shield no longer gives holy power. This drastically reduces your holy power economy, which in turn leads to the second biggest change. You won't be having 100% uptime on Shield of the Righteous anymore. You can still get very high uptime, but because of the weakened holy power economy, you'll be casting less Shield of Righteousness than you're used to, which in turn means you'll have less holy power to spend on fully costed bogs, which makes the free ones you get from Shining Light or Divine Purpose all that more important. It makes those procs far more important. Now, you aren't left completely defenseless when you don't have Shield of the Righteous stuff. You are provided ways to help mitigate damage during those downtimes, other than, big defensive CDs like Guardian or Guardian of Ancient Kings, but we'll touch on those when we get to the Spec tree. Speaking of trees, let's look at the Paladin class tree. Overall, the current Paladin class tree is much better than before. They've changed a lot of the pathing and it flows a lot nicer than it used to. Fortunately, there's still a lot of not so great nodes on the tree. Pretty much the entire left side is just underwhelming. It doesn't really bring much to the table compared to the rest of the tree. Of Dusk and Dawn isn't powerful enough to warrant the minigame it forces you to play with your holy power, especially with a weakened economy, even considering the recent changes to Seal of Order, increasing your holy power generation, or decreasing the cooldown of your holy power generating abilities. Golden Path and Seal of Mercy are very weak. They don't really provide much. It's not as substantial healing as it is in Shadowlands, the Conduit. And Seal of Mercy doesn't do a lot because Golden Path doesn't do a lot. The only really interesting nodes are Blinding Light and Cleanse Toxin, but those are just solely for M+. You only really take Holy Aegis just to kind of fill in points so you can get to the bottom half of the tree. Probably the worst thing of all is that, at least for Prot Paladin, is that Blessing of Spell Warding is available to the other two specs. It's really barges in on the niche that Protection Paladin had of this magic, being able to deal with magic damage really, really well, and using Blessing of Spell Warding to fully immune certain mechanics during raid fight, such as things like Sylvanas' Ranged Heartseeker back in Sanctum of Domination. While this is probably good for the class as a whole, allowing Ret and Holy access to spell warding, just kind of sucks for Prot. Because, again, it barges in on their niche and something only they had. But it's not all bad news. There's really interesting nodes on the tree, such as the Recompense and Sacrifice of the Just choice node. Sacrifice of the Just is really good in M+, bringing Sacrifice down to a minute cooldown and having it up for every pack on such a strong DR is really good, really helps you keep your squishy DPS alive and just overall bumps up the utility even higher. And then Recompense has the opportunity to provide you with really heavy hitting judgment and raid by sacrificing your co-tank during a time of heavy damage, and just allows for this really good skilled play by using sacrifice on your co-tank at the right time, helping them and helping you deal more damage. Sanctified Wrath is really good. It really helps with the weakened holy power economy we have by allowing judgment to grant 2 holy power per cast, and it makes it very strong. Tied with talents such as Seal of Might, increasing your mastery during wings, and things like Righteous Protector, reducing cooldown of wings, and then even Mad Paragon coming back, increasing the duration of wings. Allows you to have this really high uptime on wings, which is really fun and has really cool synergies with other talents in the Spec tree. Speaking of the Spec tree, let's dive into it a bit more. As I said previously, there are a bunch of talents that attempt to give you coverage while Shield of Righteousness is down. Things like Sanctuary, making your Consecration provide additional damage reduction while you're in it, or Bulwark of Order, giving you a shield for 100% of the damage Avenger's shield does. Faith Barricade, giving you increased block chance. Or Crusader's Resolve, causing enemies hit by Avenger Shield to do reduced damage to you when it's stacking. Or Faith in the Light, giving you more block chance. Just kind of help smooth out the damage intake you have when Shield of Righteousness is down. This is more important in M+, but in M+, you also have slightly less downtime of Shield of Righteousness than in Raid. And in Raid, you're able to plan, around. You have Shield of Righteousness up while you're actively tanking, and have it less while your co-tank currently has threat. Additionally, we're getting a bunch of old talents back that are really, really cool and really helpful, such as Line of the Titans, which really helps keep you topped in between your free wogs from Shining Light. Shining Light was actually buffed in a way to take into consideration the reduced holy power generation we'll have. It's now every 3 Shield of the Righteousness instead of every 5, which means you'll be getting it a bit more often, about the same on average, because we're generating less holy power, but it's still a very good change to Shining Light. And then you also get Eye of Tyr back, which is a great addition. It's another defensive cooldown, which is something Prot really needed. It's also a very short, good, heavy reduction that allows you to really rotate between all your different cooldowns, going pack to pack, inside of a pack, and during Raid. Additionally, there is Bastion of Light was reworked. It was changed from resetting the cooldown of Avenger Shield to now making your next 3 Shield of Righteousness reward abilities cost no holy power. And it's actually a pretty important talent now. It allows you to fill the gaps in when your holy power generation will be low, giving you 3 free Shield of Righteousness and then an additional 4th free holy wog. So it's really not just 9 holy power, it's 12. It's very, very good, very strong cooldown that helps bridge the gaps when your holy power generation will be low. And then we have a cool, fun new talent in Sentinel. Sentinel increases your max health and reduces your damage taken by 2% per stack for 20 seconds. After 5 seconds, you'll begin to lose a stack every second, but every 3 holy power you spend will delay this. And combined with things like Sanctified Wrath, Mad Paragon, Righteous Protector, this is pretty strong cooldown with how high of uptime we'll get on wings between the different things. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of really, really cool stuff. This is looking really good. We're even getting cool things back like Divine Toll. But unfortunately, it's not all fun and games. Divine Toll is severely weaker than its current state in Shadowlands. You don't have the holy power generation that you get from all of the Avenger Shields going out. You don't have Repeat Decree giving you those extra ones going out. You do get Divine Resonance or Improved DT, which reduces its cooldown. Both are good, but it's still nowhere near as strong as it used to be, and it's really only there just to spend points. You do get quality of life things like Focused Enmity versus Soaring Shield. Focused Enmity, great for raiding, making Avenger Shield even more powerful on that one single target, or Soaring Shield doing great on-pull aggro by hitting additional targets. But then there's just general problems that you have. For instance, Crusader's Judgment is probably the most important talent on this tree. And unfortunately, to get it, it's all the way down here right before the 20-point requirement. You're really reliant on Grand Crusader to generate more holy power with Judgment, and then to give you additional Avenger Shield casts. And being forced to go all the way down here before taking it kind of is unfortunate. And then once you get down here and you take Eye of Tyr and Righteous Protector and, change your shield to do, everything else is just kind of lackluster. It doesn't really provide more than any of these nodes above it. Bulwark of the Righteous Fury coming back is great for M+. It's probably the only other node in here that's really, really worth taking. Gift of the Golden Valkyr, which was recently buffed, still pretty lackluster, even with the addition of the free Guardian of the Ancient Kings proc when you drop below 20%. But you're already getting a lot of cooldown reduction from on Guardian from Righteous Protector, and you're really not pressing Avenger Shield as much as you think you are, because you need the holy power from Judgment, so you're pressing that more. Moment of Glory is just not that exciting. Being 1.5 minute cooldown means it doesn't line up with Divine Toll, which is what would make it really strong if they lined up. You know, you pop Moment of Glory, you pop Divine Toll, going into a pack, and you generate this giant Absorb Shield. But then their cooldowns don't line up, and you have to hold one or the other, and it just kind of feels awful. And as well, the amount of Absorb you're getting isn't really worth the point. And then you have things like Faith's Armor, which just doesn't do much. 10% additional armor on while Shield of Righteousness is up is nice, but Shield of Righteousness provides a ton of armor, and it's just kind of unnecessary extra, especially when we don't have full uptime on Shield of Righteousness. Overall, the spec tree is good, but the lower half just feels very uninspired. You get 3 nodes that are great, one only great in M+, and then the rest you just kind of like, well, I have extra points to take, I might as well take it. But it's not like it's hopeless. There's buffs to be had if you make Divine Toll give you Holy Power, or the free ones from Divine Resonance give you Holy Power. Increase the shield absorption from Moment of Glory, or lower it to a minute cooldown to line up with Divine Toll baseline. All those are very good things. Moving Faith in the Light or making it a higher block chance, or just kind of reworking it, buffing it in some ways, would make it a lot stronger. Basically, it just needs some tuning changes, and then you'll be in a really strong state. Now, there is one thing I do want to mention. I had to re-record the video to get to this because I wanted to mention it. Recently, Blizzard changed the way that Holy Shield works and how you quote-unquote block magic damage. And the biggest thing is this one. Holy Shield will no longer allow you to block periodic spell damage. This is an incredibly huge change, and it is very, very, very bad change. A huge nerf to Prot Paladin. It's so bad and so big that essentially you're only going to be taking Holy Shield for physical damage now. But if you look into it for Dragonflight and the current block percent chance that you get with Baseline and from Mastery, from Faith Barricade, Faith in the Light, it's about an 18% loss in magic damage reduction, which was Prot's big niche. They're able to block these magic periodic effects that, you know, did a lot of damage. They were just able to, you know, sit through and deal with it. But now it's a bit weaker, and so weak in fact that you'll probably only really take Holy Shields against physical damage. But enough of, you know, being pouting and whining about changes that Blizzard just made. Let's look and see what something like a raid setup would look like. For a raid setup for the class tree, it looks very similar to M+. You'll drop you know, utility nodes like Blinding Light and Cleanse Toxins to pick up things like either spell warding or reduce cooldown on Bop, or Judgment of the Light for slightly more off healing, more speed with Seasoned Warhorse, things like that. But you'll keep the same core of Divine Purpose, Sanctified Wrath, Mad Paragon, as well as the other nodes. For the class tree, you'll want to focus more on you know, things like Strength and Convention, giving more damage and more healing, increased duration on Consecration, from Consecration and Flame, and then Divine Resonance and Divine Toll, right? Just giving you good, steady Absorb Shields and stuff from Avengers Shield procs. and then you'll flex between, on and off Holy Shield with either Face Barricade or Uther's Guard, based on things that you need for the situation. It's a more magic heavy fight. You'll switch off of Holy Shield to other nodes that you need. For M+, it'll look a bit more like this. You'll take a bit more utility with Blinding Light and Cleanse Toxins, but otherwise doesn't really change much. You'll take Sacrifice of the Just, like I said in the beginning of the video, for the 1 minute sacrifice, which is really helpful because most pulls in M+ last about a minute. And then you'll flex different points for taking either spell warding. If there's a big magic damage effect, you can nuke in a M+ key. And then Soaring Shield instead of Focused Enmity, right, for the on pull snap threat, Bulwark for the extra incredible damage it provides. And then you want to take Improved Sarah and DT over Divine Resonance because it lines up Divine Toll better with a pull-to-pull basis in M+. And then even on longer pulls, it allows you to get in an extra Divine Toll for the crazy damage you would get with Bulwark. You'll take Tears Enforcer for even more on-pull threat. That's one thing that hasn't changed for Prot Paladin. You still have crazy amounts of on-pull threat with Avenger's Shield, Divine Toll, Soaring Shield, and Tears Enforcer. Other than that, not much changes. Still take Glide of the Titans and Bulwark. You will switch to Avenger's Wrath and Might, just for the increased damage and wings. You can swap to Sentinel if you need the additional cooldown, but between Ardent Defender, Guardian Ancient Kings, Eye of Tyr, and then Righteous Protector reducing Guardian, you should be fine. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of the new talent system. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know anything that you think should be brought back for the Protection Paladin tree. I've been Ace Spades with Method. Remember, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can never miss an upload to the channel.